welcome back to Walk, Run, Soar. It is day 16. Hopefully that's correct. We're going to be doing 2 today. This is part 1. We're doing number 20 in the book called Showing Up Matters. I have a friend with me. This is Bart. It's one of my father-in-law's horses. So I thought that'd be fun. He can kind of be in the background listening. All right, so Showing Up Matters. I really, really like this verse. It's the translation is The Message, which always kind of changes a little bit, but I actually like the way, not changes what it means, but just a different wording. But I like how it puts it in a new light. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 16. So we're not giving up. How could we? Even though on the outside it often looks like things are falling apart on us, on the inside where God is making new life, not a day goes by without His unfolding grace. And I had a comment on a previous devotion the last couple of days, how this is applying to life, right now. I mean, all of this is applying to what our family is, going through right now. So it's funny how God just kind of works things that way, right? Funny, but really shouldn't be unexpected. Okay, so she starts off, she's at a 5K race this time. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, but she's talking about how, they always line up the elite runners first, and they go first, and then everybody else, follows behind them. And she was talking about how, all those elite runners, they're, you got some tall, some short hair, long hair, but they all kind of have that same, this part of their body build, the, lean, strong, those elite runners. And at this race, by this time, she mentions that she's 42. And as she was going along, she had all these thoughts that were going through her head, like, you're not in shape for this anymore, you're getting too old, carrying too much weight. She had her 3 baby girls by this point and had navigated her grief season when her first husband passed away. But at that race, she says that God reminded her of something, that showing up matters. I always joke because in my beginning of racing, I was not very fast at all, but sometimes I would place in my age group. And I remember, and actually I didn't place this time, but I went back and looked at the results. My very first 5K, I went back and looked at the results, and I was like, oh, hun, I was telling my husband, I placed 5th, that's not bad. And he goes, well, how many were in your age group? And I go back and look, 5. So we always tease about that very first 5K, that I was like, oh yeah, 5th place in my age group, that's not bad, but there was only 5 of us. So a lot of times at the beginning, if I did ever, place in my age group, it's usually because I was the only one, or there was only 2 of us or 3 of us, and so I always that was one of my goals that I had set for myself, that to place in my age group and actually have somebody behind me, which is it's given me a motivating factor to look at other people and their times that are in my age group and be like, I can do that, give me a number to work towards. So anyway. But the point is, where I'm going with that is that showing up matters. Even if I'm the only one in my age group that showed up, I showed up, and I did the race, did the thing, I put in the work. And even although the only reason I got a medal is because I was the only one in my age group, that medal to me represents the hard work that I put in. And another little quote that I underlined is, your race isn't over until it's over. And that's very appropriate for everything that our family's navigating right now. God has us here for a reason. Every day has a purpose that He has us here, and when we're done, and He says it's time to come on home. You did the race, and you kept the faith. That's one of my favorite verses. I love that verse. So she that was what that race taught her. Showing up matters, and just keep running until you can't, both in actual running and in life. And she also points out that she learned that someone is watching you run your race, and your moving forward today could make all the difference. We never know all the time who is watching us, but I think that there's always someone. Always someone is, looking at how we navigate things. And I'm terrible at this. I have always felt like I don't always do a good job, especially in my household, of setting a good example for my stepkids when it comes to certain things. But so in those moments where I know that I've made a mistake, I really try to go, that, and, verbalize it, saying that was not the right reaction. This is what I should have done, and I'm so far from perfect. Hello. They're agreeing with me. So far from perfect. Oh, and so along that same line, after this particular 5K race, when she was stretching and getting all that done, she said that her 7-year-old looked up at her and said, "Good job, Mama." And she said, "Another unexpected reminder that showing up still matters. We are teaching our baby birds how to fly." So those kids, I mean, they're quiet, but they will catch everything. And that's one of my other favorite sayings that I've heard from pastors and, all kinds of people, that more is caught than taught. And it's that whole actions speak louder than words situation. We can spout off all the right things, but how we apply it to our lives, preach it to the choir here. I have to remind myself of that daily. More is caught than taught. All right, her faith step: make a list of people in your circle of influence who watch you run your life race. Pray over this list and how you might make a positive impact. She has examples: your family, siblings, friends, neighbors. I mean, it's anyone you could come in contact with, and maybe even sometimes people you don't even know, like just strangers. Yeah. All right, our inspirational quote is from Lauren Fleshman, elite American distance runner. "Strong has never been about how a body looks. It's about how a human lives. It's about lining up who we are inside with how we show up in the body we have." And I love the little, it's not really a training note, but it's a note from Coach Sean. And I've discovered how much fun this is. Volunteer at a local race at least once a year to give back to the running community. There's a lot of work that we put together a 5K fundraiser race for my stepkids cross country team. And having run-in races made it a little bit easier to think about the aspects that the runners, need and appreciate. But there is a lot of work involved. But it's so fun to volunteer and to be cheerleaders for all these runners. So I definitely agree with that. Encourage it. Volunteer at a race. They need the volunteers, and it's so something about encouraging other people. It's just very uplifting, and seeing people accomplish goals and finish a race. And those background of some people, that's one of the things I love about the Disney races, is that they make it so that even if you're going to walk the whole thing, that is an accomplishment, and they make it so attainable for people. So it's amazing. So yeah, showing up matters. So even if you're not the best, always show up. So I hope everyone's having a wonderful Saturday, and I am going to get ready to do part 2 now.